Welcome everyone to the latest edition of Much of Nothing. We're excited for you to be joining us here again today.
So excited.
And we've got a pretty good story to tell you this time about an adventure from our youth.
Great story.
But before we get into it, Caden here is going to introduce our sponsor for this week.
So once again, we like to extend our great gratitude to our sponsor. There's nobody. We wish it was the PGA Tour, because we just watched Tiger Woods be more than relevant in a major, and it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not a sponsor.
No. But they could be.
We're open.
All you need to do is contact us at our email.
Display.
Here.
Maybe a little higher.
Here?
We'll see.
Anyway.
So this was how many years ago?
Oh, that is an excellent question. Let's see. I would have been like 14 at the time.
It was definitely earlier than 2012.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a number of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But lately we've been having quite the storms, a lot of rain, a lot of dust. These haboobs keep coming through. And so that reminded me of this experience we had inside a haboob.
I don't recall. Anyway, yes, it was my brother and I, and one of my brother's good friends, Jacob.
We'll call him Jacob.
It's just a name. Anyway.
And so we had, in our backyard, we had this pool. And because, our mother, who we've talked about, was really concerned about safety, there was a pool fence around the pool so, no one could accidentally wander in and drown.
Yeah, wise idea. We were young when we first got the pool. Not bad.
Yeah. And, just no matter what your age is, it's probably a good idea to, have one of those up there.
Mm-hmm.
But so we also had a trampoline. And so we often would jump on the trampoline over the pool fence and into the pool because it was exciting.
It was good fun. There's no denying that. It was a lot of fun. Or else we wouldn't have done it. But we thought what would be better is if, rather than having...
Yes, but also Mom was very anti-jumping the fence.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, our compromise, I guess you could say, that we came up with was we're going to take the trampoline and move it inside the fence and jump directly in the pool without a fence in the way. Because there was a small rocky area where we could situate the trampoline to do so.
So, there was one day when, Mason, our friend who we were calling Jacob, and myself decided, you know what, now would be a great time to move the trampoline. And it was in the middle of a haboob.
Yeah, the wind was blowing pretty hard. A good amount of dust was in the air. It was probably like right before the heavy section was hitting.
And you're thinking, well, they probably just disassembled this trampoline and moved it through the gate and reassembled it on the inside. But that would have taken way too much time.
No, that's way too much effort. We're just going to take the trampoline and we're going to move it over the fence. That's easier.
Yeah. So luckily, our friend who we're calling Jacob has made afterwards.
Oh yeah.
This was not a blueprint.
No.
But afterwards made in art form, a recap of what happened. So we'll show those as we're going along. So basically, we turned the trampoline on its side and decided we were going to lift it up and over the pool fence.
Mm-hmm.
But our pool fence came to a T at our just the the back fence to the fence in our backyard.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Which had a viewing fence, so it had like a 3-foot pony fence, and then the bars, so it was pretty easy to stand on top of that one.
So we went alongside there and got it up, and we were gonna push it on over and have our friend, who we're calling Jacob, get on the other side and sort of catch it as it came down, and then slide it, and then lift the last bit over, and so on and so forth. But because of the wind, when we were pushing it up to lean it over so Jacob could catch it,
it became a giant sail.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was on top of the viewing pony fence. I had like one leg on each side, one by the park, one in our house, and it had gotten to the point where the wind was blowing strong enough, because, I don't know, just this week we had gusts that got up to, I think, like...
They were above 75 miles an hour, somewhere around there.
So, not constant, but gusts. So that's capable. What it was when we were doing it, I don't know.
Probably not 75, but definitely some big gusts of wind.
So it got to, for me, I feel bad. Our friend named Jacob, who drew this depiction, totally left Mason out.
Yeah.
He was there.
I was there.
But what I can remember, because, we already said it's more than 6 years ago, I was on top of the fence, and I'm holding on to one of the legs of the trampoline just as hard, as much grip strength as I can manage, because the wind is trying to blow this trampoline just out of our hands. And I'm holding on, and Jacob was, our friend who we're calling Jacob, was at the base, on the other side. You can see in the picture. And I was trying so hard to hold on, but it was like pulling me off the fence. And so I just couldn't hold on anymore without being dragged off the top of the fence. So I think I yelled something like, I can't hold on any longer. And then it just slipped out of my hand.
Yeah. And I was on the opposite side of the trampoline, up against the pool fence, sort of guiding it along as we went.
That's right.
And so I was holding on to the main round section of the trampoline.
With the padding?
Yeah, where the padding would be.
Okay.
Basically right next to where the springs connect. So, in between some springs is where I was. And when the winds came, it grabbed, it slipped out of one of my hands, my left hand, and then my right hand went all the way across the pool fence, and it started to hyperextend my elbow. And so, I can't remember exactly what I said. I think I said, I'm sorry. And I let go, because I didn't want to... break my arm or anything like that, and the winds were just too strong, and I couldn't hold on any longer.
So if you can now imagine, the two people who were holding the trampoline back now have just released it, and so we got our friend who we're calling Jacob, who's the trampoline's up sideways, and he's standing there, and the big wind just blows it over on top of him.
Straight on top of him.
Oh, and...
using the pool fence as a fulcrum and just directly on top.
And we discussed earlier, too, Mason said it was this, where we were moving, it was just a bunch of rocks. Mm-hmm. So basically this giant trampoline was coming down to squish our friend who we're calling Jacob into the rocks. And watching how quick it went down made me very concerned for Jacob's well-being, our friend who we're calling Jacob's well-being.
Mm-hmm. But luckily, our friend who we're calling Jacob has some pretty good reflexes, it would seem, because he managed to dodge his way right next to like a small tree or like a bush type thing.
It's a dwarf fruit tree.
Yeah. Okay. And
so it feels weird calling it a tree because it's not bigger than a bush.
Yeah. Yeah. So he kind of ducked right next to it, and it kind of absorbed most of it, and so it just kind of leaned up against Jacob from the end, is what it looked like from my perspective.
It split the tree.
Yes.
It split the tree, not like directly in half, because, trees aren't... Yeah. So it split off a good portion of the tree, and Jacob was like, underneath it, and so our friend we call Jacob, I keep messing up, so we have credited that dwarf fruit tree with saving our friend who we're calling Jacob's life.
Yeah. I mean, without that dwarfed tree there, who knows what could have happened to our
Yeah.
friend who we're calling Jacob.
Yeah, he definitely could have like hit his head on a rock and like
Yeah.
something bad could
Or
have happened.
the trampoline could have swung completely, maybe got him in the head, maybe he falls in the pool after that.
Yeah.
Who knows? That tree saved his life.
And yeah, it was very, very scary, I guess you could say. It was a very dumb idea
Yeah.
that we had. Like, oh, the strongest winds we've ever seen. Let's move this trampoline up and over a wall.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't occur to us that the wind would just catch the trampoline.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or to just, like when the wind's picked up, maybe stop?
Yeah, not our best idea.
No.
Although I'm not sure I could say it was also. I can't for certain say it was our worst.
Hard to say.
It's up there.
Definitely not on our good side idea list.
Yeah.
That's a good way to say it, sure.
But yeah, so that was our great story. A story back when I had hair.
Yes,
I can't remember if that's well depicted or not.
in the, I don't know if
We'll have to
Jacob's-
see.
or our friend who we're calling Jacob's images clearly depict, but I do recall he still had his hair at this point.